Hello, everybody. My guest today is Gireesh Sonnad. He is the CEO and founder of a company called Silverline CRM, now setting the corporate vision and mission for the company. He's a technology leader and cloud solutions expert with proven abilities to execute and achieve business goals. Gireesh, you ready to take us to the top?
Yeah, let's do it.
Did I make a mistake? It sounds like you might have been brought in at a later stage. Are you also the founder or no?
I'm the co-founder. Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay, very good. I love that. All right, tell us about the company. The reason I'm looking forward to this, you are in a very, very crowded space, which means you must have figured out some mousetrap to allow yourself to survive and thrive. And I want to learn what that mousetrap is. So what's the company doing? How are you guys making money?
Yeah, sure. So Silverline is essentially a Salesforce implementation shop, right? So what we do is we help organizations who are looking to make digital transformation moves using a CRM platform like Salesforce, take the best advantage of that platform and do it in a way that is most advantageous for their business.
Yep. Now, is this a professional services play or is there a SaaS component underneath?
It's almost entirely a professional services play. So most of what we do is just what you would think about consulting work and sort of time and materials type engagements.
Yep. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. So walk me through, first off, who's feeding you the Salesforce leads? Or are people like they buy Salesforce, they Google some pain point, they get stuck on and they find your articles? I mean, which aspect are you fitting in on?
Well, it's a little bit of all things, but primarily today we are a channel-based organization, right? So one of our sales channels, if you will, is Salesforce itself. And so making sure that we're staying very close with those teams and very close with their partner alliances teams so that when the right customer comes along, they think about us first. And because you can imagine someone is out there looking to buy Salesforce, one of the questions that they ask and one of the questions that we and Salesforce recommend is that you look to help. And so those customers are always looking for guidance. Who is the right customer who is the right sort of service provider and how can they help me?
Yep. And so, I mean, how do you fit in though? I mean, there are hundreds of companies that would put themselves in the Salesforce kind of partner category for, consulting services. So how do you get leads from Salesforce?
That's a great question. It's something that we chose very, very early on was to focus very tightly on specific industry verticals. So Salesforce is a huge place. There's a lot of things you can do from a platform. We very specifically said we are experts in financial services and healthcare and life sciences and a few sub verticals underneath that. And so what we have told the marketplace is if you have anything that touches any of those ideas, no matter how complex, we can definitely solve those problems. If it's outside of that area, we'll help you find the right partner. It's probably not going to be us.
That's really smart. That is your mousetrap that allows you to survive, is you can say, we don't do everything, but we are the best at these two. So you should win almost every deal of a Salesforce implementation on a fintech, company.
We should.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Walk me through the history here. When did you launch the company? What year?
So we started the company in 2009. It was formed as actually a merger of sorts, an unofficial merger between myself and my co-founder. Both of us were sort of a single man sort of consulting shops running around New York City with their heads cutting off, trying to figure out how to put this thing together. Salesforce didn't have an office in New York. They didn't even have an office on the East Coast at the time. And so we were in the network, in the ecosystem, found each other and said, hey, we think there's more to this whole idea. What would happen if we combined forces and went after it together?
That makes a lot of sense. Now, what does that actually look like from like a cap table perspective? You guys just split it 50-50 or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, and this is something that I tell a lot of people who are thinking to do this. I mean, one of the things that was great, my company was a little bit smaller than his by revenue, but we had a little more relationships and vice versa. We agreed right off the bat, split it 50-50 right down the middle. It helped us focus on what was necessary to grow the company as a combined unit. And so, the cap table has changed a little bit over the years, but that's how we started the company, how we operated for a great majority of the time. And it was only super powerful.
So what's the team size today? How many people?
We've got about 325 people.
Okay, 325. And then most agencies are obviously bootstrapped. Very rarely do you see one raising. I assume you guys are bootstrapped, right?
We are bootstrapped, but we did actually take on some investment last year with an equity partner named Pamlico Capital. And so we basically are recapitalizing the firm for continued growth, and it went very well.
How much did they put in?
In what regard?
How much did they invest?
Well, it's not actually public how much they invested, but they're a significant investor in Silverline and sort of recapitalized us in the right way going forward.
Well, let me ask you a different question. A lot of times, especially you've been around for almost 10 years now, when I hear stories like this, I'm like, oh yeah, it makes sense. The founders wanted some liquidity. So most of that investment is probably actually the secondary, not going towards operations. Is that what happened here? You and your founder just wanted some cash?
No, this is a majority investment. So yes, at some level that was about taking money off the table, but really it was about putting the organization in the right footing so that in the next 10 years are backed appropriately.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not following. It was actually most of this money. You didn't sell it. You and your co-founder did not sell any equity in the secondary. It was all going, that it's all went in the company into operations.
No. Sorry. It was an equity sale, and we did sell.
Okay.
We did sell the equity in the company. We did take some money off the table.
Yep.
And we did sort of make sure that we got the benefit for something of that what we've done over the last 10 years.
Yeah. No, I think. By the way, I think it's great. I think it's smart.
Yeah.
I have nothing. I have no qualms about this. I think it totally is well deserved.
No. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we did. That was part of it. But really, what was about too is to make sure that as founders, had bootstrapped the company, to your point, and we wanted to make sure that the company could continue to grow with the appropriate amount of sort of financial backing and appropriate amount of sort of power behind it, right? And so we did it in we added the Pamlico folks to the cap table to sort of help with that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Do they have a history of getting into kind of agency companies like this, or why'd you like them?
We loved them because of that specific reason. They have a cloud thesis that focuses on founder-backed companies in the SaaS-based sort of services space. And so they knew very well the challenges we were trying to face, and they knew very well what it meant to have a founder-run or founder-organized company and how to help that.
Let me be ultra specific here. This is sometimes a shortcut to getting kind of access to other companies they've invested in. If you sense that you could service a massive pool of customers that one of their other companies have, like Daxco, which is a financial management solutions provider they invested in, was there any kind of conversation or strategic analysis by you and your co-founder going, if we let them invest, we'll get access and be the Salesforce provider for all their other investments too, especially the ones like Daxco in the financial management solution space?
No, not as a primary aspect of that whatsoever. I mean, really, it was about us putting the organization on the right footing to continue to grow with the pipeline that we have. Now, sure, that would be nice, and if there are ways that we can sort of extend our network to find new customers in different places, fantastic, we'll take it.
Yeah, do they help with that?
Primary strategy. They do, absolutely, for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. And then give me a general sense. So if a fintech company, by the way, we have a ton of SaaS companies that listen to the show. A lot of them are in financial services or fintech specifically. If they're thinking, yeah, we just bought Salesforce, we're totally lost. What is like the typical customer going to pay you for implementation? I'm sure it ranges, but typically what's it look like?
Well, right now, so our focus is around sort of the mid to mid high in terms of company size, and so our engagements are looking to be a few $100,000.
Okay.
Take
one time, like per project, or is that annually or something?
That's kind of one time. I mean, certainly we structure things a lot of different ways. We always advocate for a long-term sort of consistent and methodical approach to realizing value on the Salesforce platform. It is a growing platform. You can take much more advantage of it over time. And so we do have longer term engagements, but initial one-time project, literally getting things up off the ground the right way, you can think about it as a couple $100,000.
Okay, fair enough. And then help me understand, what capacity you guys can actually handle yearly. So like last year, are you working with like a select 5 clients, or you're working with like 500 clients?
It's somewhere squarely in the middle. I think we closed about 200 deals last year.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's still, that's still pretty, that's almost, that's like what, 0.6, 0.7 per employee. That's still pretty, that's higher than I would have thought.
It's higher, and it's actually getting lower, believe it or not. As we get up market and our company grows and our company size, the client size grows and the size of the engagements grow, we're getting more in that sort of top end, which is a part of our design and part of our growth strategy. And so that volume number is going to go down a little bit, but certainly the size of the customer is growing up.
Yeah. 200 customers at a couple $100,000 an engagement. I mean, let's say 200 grand an engagement. That puts you north of 40 million bucks a year in revenue. Is it fair to say you've broken that?
Oh yeah.
When's the 100 mark coming?
3 years, give or take.
That was a quick answer. This is already in your pro formas, huh?
I got it.
What's going to let you get there? Is it literally just going up marketing, increasing the average contract size, or is there some other play, another product line, upsells? What do you think is going to get you there?
Well, one of the nice things about Salesforce is as a platform, the technology is continuing to grow. So it offers us a lot more abilities to sort of talk to our customers about new things. I firmly believe that we can get there in our industries of focus. In financial services and healthcare are huge industries that have a tremendous amount of money that needs to be spent on digital transformation and CRM focus. So not a tremendous amount of new sort of product lines or new sort of areas of business I foresee, but it is about growing our capabilities. It's about going up market to the bigger customers, and it's about bringing these customers in from a variety of different angles, not just our channels.
Yep. Very interesting. Most of the most successful software companies, you look at Qualtrics, for example, they start off actually as an agency. Now they usually stop at like 5, maybe anywhere between like 1 and 5 million bucks in revenue and go, oh my gosh, there's a SaaS project underneath this. Every one of our customers asks for this one thing. We can codify it, spin it out as a SaaS company. You have resisted the urge to do that. And I guess thank God you did, because you built a massive agency here, but you have got to have the temptation every week to spin out software companies. Why have you not done that? Or are you doing it right now?
Well, in fact, we did it a couple of times in the beginning. We didn't spin them out as companies, but we did build SaaS products. We launched them on the Salesforce platform. and then really came to a decision point. We're like, look, are we going to be a services company and a solutions firm, or are we going to be a products firm? And I think our driving force with my co-founder and I was really about building custom solutions and taking the more bespoke approach.
Yep.
So we still have some of those SaaS products that kick in, 8 to 10% of our revenue every year, and just kind of do that in a recurring fashion. We're using Salesforce's App Exchange as a great place to do that. So it's sort of like, the Apple Store for business solutions in Salesforce's world. So we have a SaaS product side of the company, if you will, but it's nascent, and we're letting it be there because our primary focus is around the services and the solutions. You're right, though. It is tempting. You see a new product or a new idea every single time. What we've chosen to do is bring that into our asset strategy, which is a repeatable set of IP that we deploy to our customers going forward. So instead of spinning those out as products and figuring out how to sell them as box solutions, we sell them as accelerators to get implementations off the ground more quickly or more efficiently.
Yeah. There's a lot of, with now this firm behind you and the kind of revenue you're doing. First off, I imagine, are you bootstrapped, or are you profitable, or are you guys burning?
We're burning.
Oh, you are burning. Oh, interesting. Okay. Can you try and quantify that? More than $1 million a month, or no?
No.
Okay.
No, it's small, but it's in service to the growth. I mean, if you think about the Salesforce ecosystem growth, we're racing to catch up.
Yep.
And stay ahead of that.
Yep. Okay, good. So burning less than $1 million in terms of cash each month. Just, I imagine, probably on headcount, right?
Yep. It's all people.
Yeah. Would you ever consider a strategy where and this is really lead gen for you, you go, like, I'm looking right now at the App Exchange. I just searched finance. There's 225 results. Some of these things have a ton of reviews, but are not like they're free solutions or things like that. Would you ever, go do a roll-up strategy and buy these, and really what you're buying are basically hundreds of, enterprise leads potentially? Well,
we're definitely utilizing sort of an ecosystem approach to lead generation, which is to sort of find compelling sort of complementary solutions to the stuff that we build, and putting them all together into one nice package and saying, this is the way that you would do this. Whether or not it becomes part of a roll-up strategy and actually buy them, something that, we can talk to the board about. But as the current strategy goes, it's really about the custom solution and what do we use as partners to sort of help get us there.
Yeah, fair enough. I can imagine a lot of companies that sell to enterprise, fintech, in the two categories you're focused on, going, man, be a strategic investor in our new startup. We're serving those markets as well. There's all kinds of ways, I think, for you to get exposure to the SaaS space if you wanted it.
Well, what we're seeing too is most of these SaaS companies, even the most compelling and most robust ones, don't actually know how to do the servicing work.
Oh, totally. They don't want it, by the way.
They don't want it either. They build a fantastic product because they've got one or two industry folks, but they don't know how to actually talk to the marketplace, or they don't know how to serve them long term. And so some of those are the areas that we're looking at as sort of more partnership style growth than it is about us becoming the actual provider of the software.
Yeah. No, that makes good sense. Do you have any? So let's say I use you this year, 2019. I paid $300,000 to get my instance of Salesforce set up. I'm a finance related company. Are there any ongoing fees, or no?
There are technically no ongoing fees, but we definitely strongly recommend that you think about. We have a managed services component to our business as well, sort of long term, not just project based work, but long term, sort of looking after the health of the business and the Salesforce implementation, which, as a rule of thumb, you can think about sort of 20% of your investment. You can think about carrying on over time. And that's about, again, keeping the lights on with Salesforce, continuing to understand how you're improving and realizing value from that investment. So we strongly are recommending that, and a lot of our customers are agreeing with that and going after it.
Yep. And then talk to me, a last question here about CAC. So to get a new, call it $200,000 a year customer, what's your sales look like? Are you willing to spend, a third of that, tenth of that? What do you spend on CAC?
Well, a huge majority of our inbound net new stuff comes from Salesforce directly. Right. So the CAC is a little bit off, right? Because we're not going direct to market and sort of deploying traditional biz dev strategies to do that. It's about our relationships in the channel and our account executives staying really close to the Salesforce world and letting them know what we can do for them. Salesforce has an army of sellers, if you might imagine.
Do you pay them a kickback though? 10, 20, 30%?
No, definitely not.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Okay. Interesting. So you're not doing any paid spend, Facebook ads, Google ads, things like that?
Very little. It's just more of corporate brand awareness than it is about lead gen or biz dev.
Okay.
At least today.
I'm trying to figure out a way to quantify this without getting down to every niche, minute detail. I guess let me tell you this. Ignore what you're actually doing right now. If someone was going to sign up with you for $300,000, how aggressive would you be willing to be on that? What's the max you would spend to get that account? All in, fully weighted, includes salespeople, commission, time, all that.
Yeah, probably 20-25%, I would say.
Oh, okay. So it's fairly good. So you kind of are baking in, call it a 75-80% margin for yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, have you figured out a way to get your agency margins up above kind of industry standards? Because, obviously sometimes it can be pretty bad.
It's a challenge. It's a complete challenge, especially when you consider the talent war that goes on in the Salesforce ecosystem. The supply and demand is way inverted in terms of finding great people that know how to do this work. So you end up paying a lot for them. It's a lot. It's looking at sort of different strategies to use our accelerators, for example, to make the delivery more efficient. It's about finding people in the right areas of the world that are helping to sort of buffer out the type of work that we need to do. It's a multifaceted strategy for sure.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Let's wrap up here, Gireesh, with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Right now it's probably Dare to Lead.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
Mark Benioff.
Of course. Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company besides Salesforce?
Favorite online tool for building my company? Greenhouse.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
6.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kiddos?
All of the married with kiddos.
How many?
2, 5 and 2.
And I was gonna say not wives, kids. All right, 2 kids. And Gireesh, how old are you?
I'm 43.
All right, last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What do I wish my 20-year-old self knew? So many things. Just to go after it from the business perspective, right? I was a technologist for a long time. I was a coder. I wrote a lot of code. If you look at these things from a business and a customer perspective, there's a lot of opportunities that open up.
Guys, go for it. Silverline CRM decided early on they didn't want to be a SaaS company. They went all in on agency. You do just say, oh, horrible margins, doesn't work. But they've grown to over 300 employees, 200 customers per year, paying 200, 300, 400,000 bucks a pop. So north of 50 million bucks in revenue last year, with eyes on 100 here in the next 2 to 3 years. Did a big, we don't know what the number was, but did a deal with a private equity firm, did a little bit of a secondary plus a cash to fuel operations here. They are burning capital, less than $1 million per month, though, as they look to scale in New York City and abroad. Again, servicing 2 very specific sectors in the Salesforce App Exchange. Gireesh, thank you so much for taking us to the top.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it, and the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company, or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them, and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.